So the all-knowing, personalized algorithms of Facebook, along with all the power of the interwebs, is reminding me that it's not only Mother's Day soon, but that we are entering into the bittersweet season of commencement here in Bartlesville, yes. And with that come the sweeping memories that T and I will journey east this week to give witness to our firstborn daughter graduating from college, and then shortly thereafter make the journey back here to St. Luke's for Senior Sunday, where we will honor Josie McIver, Cody Lay, and Jackie. This is in a world surreal to me. Not just because I'm going to be heading to Sewanee to witness this wonderful moment in my daughter's life, but because, as the metaverse so often does, I have been digitally reminded that it wasn't so long ago that T and I graduated from the same place, thus prompting the question, where has all the time gone? Yeah. So as you might imagine, those cascading frames of life on the mountain when I was in seminary came in and out of focus this week. But I think it was the taste of all that envelope glue that reminded me how thankful I am not to be reading about Roman grain production anymore, or about obscure theological ideas that probably will never make it to the light of day in parish ministry. Rather, the moments provided this experience for me to appreciate and have the sense of gratitude that stems from understanding how my life has moved from sort of this transient passage to the rootedness of something found. And that something that has been found is a feeling of belonging. Something that's quite front and center in the gospel today. This idea of belonging. A host of holistic literature tells us that belonging is a fundamental human need, which plays a critical role in shaping our identity, our relationships, and our overall well-being. Belonging in that sense refers to feeling connected and accepted and valued within community. And the benefits from experiencing that type of connectedness are profound. Liturgically, we affirm this connectedness each time that we gather for Eucharist, but perhaps it's most profoundly experienced in the peace during the Eucharist. You all know that as liturgical halftime, right? You get up and love everybody, and I have to blow the whistle, or look at Pam, because when Pam's back in her seat and she's like this, it's time to go. She knows I love her. She knows I love her. One of the key benefits, for lack of a better term, of belonging is this sense of support. And when you reach out and you shake someone's hand and you look them in the eye, you know that you're connected in a different way than you would be out into the world. And I think in that moment, we know that we belong. I hope that you know that you belong here. When we are forgiven, when we are loved and cared for, when we are loved despite our flaws, whether that's in a family, a circle of friends, or a community like St. Luke's, I hope that you have or had an experience of stability and security within the confines of this space. Knowing that we have people around us who care about us and are there for us in times of need can greatly reduce the feelings of loneliness isolation and fear that we all experience from time to time. And it is the belonging of this sort that I think is so close to the heart of Jesus' message this morning. Not only in the hope that is his when he says, I have said these things to you while I am still with you, so that my joy, he says, my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. He says that, yes? Or perhaps more so in the belonging to him. For as he said, they did not choose him, right? But he chose them, right? In belonging to him, them as well as us have been changed in an ontological way. Our identity has been reshaped, refashioned in Christ, not as servants, but as friends. And one of the great hopes, I think, of friendship in communal life, is that spiritual friendship is given a place to grow. And I think with that comes an awareness that just as in the disciples' case, that growth will take some time to root. And that in taking root, there needs to be some work to be done around that, to cultivate friendship. Even if growth is challenging. And I guess that's the hard part of Christian life in community. That there is this time when the intimate nature of our belovedness will at some point crash into our imperfect, perfect individualism. And so belonging in that way looks quite different from 10,000 feet in the air. And somehow from that distance, I think we're able to balance our desire to know ourselves fully, but also to know ourselves deeply as individuals. And that somehow that is all rooted deep in relationship with each other and in God. And I don't really know how to put that into words. And so I had to turn to a poet this week to kind of give me some language. And so this is a poem by Rosemary Traumer about belonging. And it blends this communal nature with ourselves. She writes, if it's true we are alone together, the way blades of grass are alone, but exist as a field. Sometimes I feel it, the green fuse that ignites us, the wild thrum that unites us, an inner hum that reminds us of our shared humanity. Just as 35 trillion red blood cells join in one body to become one blood, just as 136,000 notes make up one symphony. Alone as we are, our small voices weave into the one big conversation. Our actions are essential to the one infinite story of what is life. When we feel alone, we belong to the grand communion of those who sometimes feel alone. It's true, we are dust. The dust that hopes, a rising of dust, a thrill of dust. The dust that dances in the light, with all other dust, the dust that makes up the world. And I like that, how she somehow goes from 10,000 feet up into the air to the ground in under a minute, so that we can take in this notion that, yes, we are who we are, but together we're something entirely different. And this notion that we are dust, but we are beloved dust. Someone once said stardust, I think. Anyways, dust that we keep, dust that we bury, dust that we spread, dust that when all dust is settled, we love because of what it once was. And there is the truth of it all, that it is in the grit and grist of communal life that the grand communion has a place, and that dust by nature is something that is often gathered. And so we do gather together week after week. On the ground floor, in day-to-day life, however, sometimes this dust becomes dirt. But even here, we know that dirt in the hands of Christ is not something to be wasted or cast aside. For in his hands, even dirt was used to heal. And that is because, as Rhonda and I love so much, and that is because grace is the face that love wears when it meets our imperfections. And I guess in a way, if we offer ourselves the opportunity to trust in that we belong to him in all our beginnings and in all of our endings, that joy, our joy, his joy, has the opportunity to take on new meaning. And so never forget who you are in Christ, that you belong here and now, that you remain his, and that even the dust rises in the end.